I get questions all the time from businesses trying to find growing brands on Amazon. Before, it was nearly impossible to do, and now it's not. Let me show you what I mean. So if we go into Smart Scout, you may be familiar with our handy dandy seller map where I can see the location of all the sellers on Amazon. But if I go into Smart Scout itself and go into the sellers tool, it's essentially what we just saw, but in a spreadsheet. This makes it incredibly easy for us to filter out what we need. And what I mean by that is get the actual brands, right? So to understand who's growing, who's not, who's a brand and who's not, we're gonna have to manipulate these filters a little bit to get exactly what I'm looking for so that I can then reach out to them and win their business. If I'm in the sellers tool, I'm gonna scroll over and we have two filters that are going to help you understand whether or not they're a brand or just a reseller. One is number of brands selling. This is just the overall total number of brands that they're selling. I'm gonna come over here and put max 1. Now, some of you may be asking, what if this is just a reseller that they have just one brand they have a relationship with, right? That's a great question. So we have another filter called full brand coverage. This is the number of brands that they're selling 60% or more of the revenue for. Now that means that they're doing a majority of the sales. This indicates a relationship, which oftentimes means that they're the brand owner, right? And since they're only selling the one brand, there's less of a chance of them being an accelerator or they have a lot of different partnerships with a lot of different brands. These are the brand owners. So I'm gonna come over here to full brand coverage and put in a maximum of 1 once again. And now we get a whole list of sellers. This one is specifically in the US marketplace, but I can enter any of these. We get a whole list of sellers that own themselves. They're selling themselves. They're selling their own brand. Now, the last thing that we may want to do, because this is important to most businesses, is filter out the country or location. I'm going to come here and go to country, and I can do starts with any of these. I usually do contains for a lot of the filters that I do on Smart Scout in general, so I'm just switching to that as a default. But I'm gonna go to contains and type in US if I wanna find US brands. And now I have a whole list of 35,000 brands that I can now reach out to and understand their situation and win their business. Now, when it comes to understanding if they're growing or not, or maybe they're not growing, and that might be more important to you, I'm gonna scroll over here to the growth rates. Now, something that is very important to understand is that these are not related to revenue. It's a percent change of the number of ratings that they have on their brand. And that can correlate heavily with revenue, which is why we have it in the system. So I have anywhere from 1 to 12 month. If I'm just interested in the 12-month, I'm gonna come here and I want maybe brands that are growing. So I'm gonna say I want at least a 50% change. And now I know that even if they had some tough months, that overall over the last 12 months, here are growing brands, and the ones that have had at least a 50% growth, there's about 5,600 of them. I can now export this list with their business name, with their address, with any other filter that I deem necessary that I need to find, and I can put that into another software that would essentially create contact information for us. Some that I've used before are Apollo.io, ZoomInfo, Seamless.ai. All of those ones are great for finding that contact information. From here, if you still want to stick around, we can go in further and understand what this seller is, what this brand does, and we can even, in another video, you'll have to see, if I go into kits, I can see everything that they are about, their issues, their pain points before I reach out to them. I can understand that quite a bit more for biz dev reasons. So in about 2 minutes, I just pulled out about 5,500 leads from Smart Scout that are perfect for my situation. I know I can help them. It's gonna make my outreach process much easier. And we're not only gonna find the clients that are gonna purchase from us, but we're gonna find the clients that are perfect for us. Ideally, they're gonna stick around and ultimately increase our business. So if you're tired of looking around out in the ether for a bunch of nothing, just to find out that it's actually hard to find this data, just come to Smart Scout, put in these filters and get exactly what you need in minutes.